I'm here with Isaiah Washington, who was one of the presenters tonight, and he's going to speak to the occasion and the African DNA Project.
Yes, yes. Well, I mean, I'm here obviously because I feel very comfortable in this area. I consider myself a bibliophile and a historian, and maybe I miss my calling as an anthropologist. I love our history. I love history, particularly our history, African American history, the African diaspora. So I find myself spending quite a bit of time in museums around the world and the country, particularly here. And the last time I was here, I convinced Charmaine Jefferson herself to get involved with an organization called the African Ancestry.
Oh, okay.
This is about 2 years ago now, and it was a bit of a push and pull, because she had told me that, oh no, she already knows her legacy. She already knows where her family resides from in the South from the plantation. And I said, well,
Right.
wait a minute.
We can go further.
I said, but I want to go a little bit further than that. And the concept, 2, 3, 4 years ago, just wasn't very palatable to people. They didn't understand it. They didn't understand what that meant. And more importantly, once they get this information, what am I going to do with it?
Right.
What does it mean once I find out whatever I find out? But in any event, she took the test, and she found out that she was more European than she was African, just like Skip Gates.
Right. There's so many.
Found out,
right.
and Quincy Jones, 80% European. But what that says is, in terms of what Skip Gates does, it makes sense.
Absolutely.
What she does, it makes sense. And like she said to me today behind the curtains there, she said, I'm going to go to Europe and claim some of that land and money so I can bring it back here to the museum. And I said, that's my point.
There you go.
It doesn't
make the
mean
connection.
just make the connection, because now that's part of your bloodline. That's part of your legacy. So I think it's time for all of us to utilize what we have in this 7th year of the 21st century. Is we have enough technology
Right.
to just kill ourselves with. So what are we going to do with this technology that can be of service to get us connected or reconnected to our past? And I think with the science, or I know with the science of dealing with the chromosome, is that is unique into itself. It cannot be toyed with. It cannot be changed or altered.
It's only
We
one.
all have it. And once it is defined, then that is the absolute. Now, when you take the test, it does not mean that you are pure or absolutely connected to this particular people and land exclusively.
Oh, okay.
You could
That's good to
have
know.
Portuguese or Spanish or Native American or Asian in your ancestry. Many people have taken this test. If they fall below a 95% ratio, then that means you are a product of various miscegenation,
Okay.
which is not a bad thing.
No.
Because, Dr. Mae Jemison, she's found out that her ancestry links her all the way back to China.
Oh my
But when you
gosh.
look at her mask,
Right.
you're not surprised. But at the same time, I've seen Namibian chiefs, Chief Kapika to be exact, in Namibia, that for all practical purposes, his face may be as dark as his suit,
Right.
but he looks like he's a Chinese man.
So it's there somewhere.
Well, Africa is the beginning. You're talking about over 200,000 years that Homo sapiens began to walk upright and work their ways to the shore and really fall in love with rice and okra and shellfish, which I still love to this day, rice and okra and shellfish.
That's where we start.
You know what I mean? So the connection is real, it's palatable, and people are starting to wake up to it and understand a little bit more about it, and that it's not connected to the government or forensic companies that's going to make it something bad.
Right.
And the other important thing about DNA testing and why I'm here is that our legacies have already been captured. Although we carry them in various ways,
Right.
it is clear when you look at the artifacts that we're still, like Artist
We're
Lane,
still capturing
that we're
them.
still, where does this information come from? Where does this ability to recreate from our minds, our souls, the imagery and the images and the music that we've created over the centuries, where does it come from? Well, it comes from the DNA. It comes from the very people that built civilization.
So when they say it's in the blood, it really is.
It's
in the
definitely in the blood. I mean, our ancestors created the word civil, and that is to be civil. and to be civilized. And all I'm trying to do with this, as leading by example, is getting the history right.
Okay.
Getting it right. We're not all a monolith, and we're not all crazy and belligerent and volatile. And if we were, it's because it was within tribals warring over land, women, and other resources.
Right.
To survive.
To survive, not just violence for violence, never.
And although many Africans enslaved their people, but they didn't take their names.
Right.
They didn't abuse them just at will, and they allowed them to marry, and they allowed them to be sold off or work off a particular debt. So yes, Africans did enslave Africans. That's how we got here as African Americans, since that's what we're being called now. But we got here because we were sold for various reasons, but it wasn't the same kind of slave mentality that the Dutch and the Portuguese and the Spaniards and ultimately what became Americans had in mind for us for several hundred years, that just completely disconnected or tried to disconnect us from who we really are. And I always said to many people that if a slave trader could alter the chromosome, he would have.
Absolutely. In his favor.
Right, but
couldn't do it.
It didn't happen.
Didn't happen. Thank
so
you.
therefore we can get the history right now.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. What a lesson.
You're very welcome.
Viewers, you've got the lesson. You've got to get your DNA testing done because you see where it can lead and what we can do with it in the future in training and teaching our children.
Well, another thing, too, more importantly, is that although I'm a celebrity, Africans want to see African Americans in Africa.
Okay.
I was told that they're growing tired of the donorship in the Europeans' faces. It's really come to that place. It's very simple. If African Americans can come and help other Africans, then they are very willing to give and give access. I've already been given quite a bit and given access to quite a bit because I've kept my word. I've built something. I tried to help with nothing in return. So the giving to me is just out of love and connection, so we can build and rebuild Mother Africa, or rebuild, from my standpoint, Sierra Leone, village by village. So it's working. And what I'm doing is not new. It's old. W.E. Du Bois started a very long time ago.
And we're finishing up. Well, thank you. Thank you.
All righty.